Imagine a person who hasn't set foot in a church for years, who hasn't spoken to God in so long they can't even remember when the last time was, who looks up at the sky and feels nothing, emptiness, silence. Now imagine that same person discovering something that changes everything, not through faith, but through an experience so simple it seems impossible that it could work. Something that requires no belief, no rituals, nothing more than 3 minutes of your day. There's a type of prayer that works, even when you don't believe. A prayer that doesn't need God to be powerful. And today, here on Daily Prayer, I'm going to share exactly how to do it, because the most transformative revelation always comes last, and it will surprise you. Welcome to Daily Prayer, a place of prayer, faith, and daily inspiration, created especially so you never walk alone on your journey. I'm your companion in this sacred moment you've decided to dedicate to your inner peace. If you're watching this now, maybe it's because something inside you is restless. Maybe you've tried everything: therapy, medication, meditation, self-help, but you still feel that weight in your chest. That sensation of being lost, even when everything seems to be in its place. Before we continue, if this content is touching your heart, please subscribe to the Daily Prayer channel, leave a like, and share it with someone who also needs to hear this. Your interaction helps me reach more people who are seeking peace like you. I'm going to tell you a story, a confession actually. I stopped praying for a long time. It wasn't for lack of faith. It was because I got tired of asking, tired of kneeling, tired of whispering into the void, hoping that someone somewhere was listening. You know that feeling? When you're so tired of waiting that even hope hurts. For months, I would wake up with that familiar weight, that anguish that seems to have a permanent address in your chest. I tried to meditate, but my mind was a hurricane. I tried to give thanks, but the words came out empty, mechanical. Until one night, desperate, I did something different. Something I didn't even consider prayer at the time. I simply said to the silence of my room, I am here, broken, confused, but I am here. I didn't ask for anything. I didn't thank anything. I just acknowledged my presence in that moment. And something changed. It wasn't a miracle. It wasn't a divine light. It was more subtle. As if, for the first time in months, I had truly breathed. I discovered in that moment that prayer isn't conversation with God. Prayer is conversation with your own soul. It's the act of stopping and recognizing that you exist, that you matter, that you're alive, even when everything seems dead around you. And this works for anyone, believe in God or not, have religion or not, because this prayer doesn't depend on external faith. It depends only on the courage to be present with yourself. Think about the last time you really stopped. Not to sleep, not to watch television, but to simply exist without doing anything, without solving anything, without fixing anything. Most of us live running away from this presence. We fill every second with noise, movement, distraction. Because when we stop, we encounter everything we were avoiding, our pain, our loneliness, our fears. But here's the paradox. It's exactly in this encounter that healing lives. The prayer I'm going to teach you today isn't about asking for protection from heaven. It's about finding protection within yourself. It's not about receiving divine love. It's about recognizing the love you already carry, but forgot to feel. And it works like this. You don't need to believe to begin. You just need to be willing to try. For 3 minutes, that's all. Because sometimes faith doesn't come before experience. Sometimes it comes after. Like a silent surprise that grows slowly, like a plant you didn't even realize you were watering. If you've already tried other forms of prayer and felt empty, or if you've never prayed in your life and don't know where to start, this is your moment. This is a prayer for skeptics, for the tired, for people who lost hope but didn't lose curiosity. Now I want you to do something with me. No matter where you're watching this, on your phone, on the computer, lying in bed, or sitting in a chair, let's do together the first part of this prayer that doesn't need faith. First, find a comfortable position. It doesn't need to be special. You don't need to kneel. You can be standing, sitting, lying down. The important thing is that you feel present in your own body. Now breathe once deep. Feel the air entering through your nostrils. Feel your lungs expanding. Feel your belly rising. And when you release the air, release with it any expectation about what should happen now. This is not a prayer of requests. This is a prayer of recognition. I'm going to guide you through 3 simple phrases. You don't need to repeat them out loud if you don't want to. You can just think them, or just listen. The important thing is that you allow these words to touch somewhere inside you. First phrase. Say with me, mentally or in a low voice, I am here. Pause. 5 seconds of silence. Feel the weight of your body wherever you are. Feel the temperature of your skin, the fabric of your clothes touching your skin. You are here, in this moment, in this place. This is real. Second phrase, I feel what I feel. Don't try to change anything. If you're sad, acknowledge the sadness. If you're anxious, acknowledge the anxiety. If you're angry, acknowledge the anger. Don't judge, don't fix, just acknowledge, as if you were a scientist observing an interesting phenomenon. Third phrase, I allow myself to exist like this. This is the hardest one, because we live in a culture that teaches us that existing isn't enough, that we need to be better, stronger, happier, more productive. But for a moment, just for this moment, you can exist exactly as you are. Imperfect, incomplete, human. Let's repeat these 3 phrases one more time. Slower now, as if each word were a step inward toward yourself. I am here. Feel your physical presence in this world. You take up space. You matter. Your existence has weight. I feel what I feel. Your emotions are valid, even the ones you wish you didn't have. They're part of you today, and that doesn't make you lesser. I allow myself to exist like this. You don't need anyone's permission to be who you are in this moment. Not even your own rational permission. You simply are. Now breathe one more time. And notice, did something change? Maybe it's subtle. Maybe it's just a small relief. A small sensation that you can stop fighting against yourself, at least for a few minutes. This is prayer. It's not conversation with an external entity. It's conversation with the part of you that was always there, but that you rarely stop to listen to. You know why this prayer works even for those who don't believe in God? Because it doesn't depend on supernatural faith. It depends only on your capacity to recognize your own humanity. And every human being has this capacity. When you say, I am here, you're doing something revolutionary in a culture that trains us to always be somewhere else, in the past, in the future, on social media, in worries. You're anchoring your consciousness in the only moment that really exists, now. When you say, I feel what I feel, you're breaking the tyranny of toxic positivity. You're saying that you don't need to be okay to have value, that your difficult emotions are also sacred because they're yours. And when you say, I allow myself to exist like this, you're practicing the most radical type of self-love, unconditional acceptance. This is a prayer of presence, and presence is the most powerful thing that exists. Because when you're truly present, you're no longer lost. You know where you are here. You know who you are, yourself. You know what you feel, exactly this. And that's enough. For now, that's enough. But there's something deeper happening here. Something I only discovered after practicing this prayer for weeks. A revelation that changes everything about what it means to be human in a world that seems to have lost meaning. The discovery that changed everything for me happened on an ordinary Tuesday. I'd been practicing this prayer for 3 weeks, always in the morning before coffee. 3 minutes. I am here. I feel what I feel. I allow myself to exist like this. Nothing spectacular had happened. I hadn't been cured. My problems remained the same. But something subtle was changing. It was as if I had stopped fighting with myself all the time. And then, on that Tuesday, while I was repeating the phrases, something clicked. An understanding that came not from my mind, but from somewhere deeper. I realized that throughout my entire life, I had treated prayer like begging. As if I were a spiritual indigent pleading for crumbs of peace, love, protection. As if I were naturally needy and needed to be filled by something external. But in that moment I understood. I wasn't asking for anything because I didn't need anything. I already had everything, not on the outside, on the inside. Prayer wasn't connecting me with a greater power. It was connecting me with the power that had always been in me, but that I had forgotten to recognize. Listen to this carefully, because this is where everything changes. You are not an empty container waiting to be filled. You are a source of love, of peace, of strength, of wisdom. Everything you've always sought outside already lives within you. True prayer is not supplication, it's remembrance. It's the act of remembering who you really are beneath all the layers of fear, doubt, and social conditioning. When you say, "I am here," you're not just acknowledging your physical presence. You're acknowledging your presence as a conscious being, as an incarnated soul, as a piece of the universe that gained the ability to observe itself. When you say, "I feel what I feel," you're honoring your capacity to experience life. Your feelings aren't defects to be fixed. They're sophisticated instruments that connect you with reality. They're your humanity in action. And when you say, "I allow myself to exist like this," you're exercising the most sacred power that exists: sovereignty over your own experience. You're saying that your existence doesn't need external justification. This isn't arrogance, it's recognition. It's the difference between thinking you own the universe and recognizing that you're an inseparable part of it. Here's the truth that traditional religions are afraid to tell you. You don't need salvation. You need remembrance. Remembrance that you're already whole. Even now, even with all your flaws, even with all your pain. Pain doesn't break you. It sculpts you. Sadness doesn't diminish you. It deepens you. Anger doesn't make you bad. It shows you where your boundaries were violated. All your emotions, even the most difficult ones, are expressions of your soul trying to communicate with you. And when you stop to listen, really listen, you discover that your soul is much wiser than your mind will ever be. This prayer we're practicing is a portal back home. And home isn't a place. Home is a state of being. It's the sensation of being aligned with yourself, of no longer being at war with your own nature. I'm going to teach you now the second part of this practice. It's deeper, more intimate, and it works best when you've already mastered the first 3 phrases. After saying, "I am here, I feel what I feel, I allow myself to exist like this," you're going to add a 4th phrase. But this one is different. This one you're going to direct inward, as if you were speaking to your heart. "Thank you for sustaining me, even when I don't believe in myself." Pause. Let this penetrate. Recognize that your body continued functioning even on your worst days. Your heart continued beating even when you wanted to give up. Your lungs continued breathing even when breathing hurt. 5th phrase, "Thank you for loving me even when I don't love myself." There's something in you that never gave up on you, even when you hated yourself, even when you sabotaged yourself, even when you treated yourself with cruelty. Something continued keeping you alive, giving you chances, offering you new beginnings. 6th phrase, "I trust in what you know that I don't know yet." This is an act of sacred surrender. You're recognizing that there's a wisdom in you that's greater than your conscious mind. An intelligence that orchestrates your digestion, your sleep, your healing, your insights, your important encounters. You don't need to control everything. You can trust the process. Trust that you're being guided even when you don't feel it. Trust that you're being cared for even when it seems you're alone. But the final revelation hasn't come yet. What I'm going to share with you now will challenge everything you think you know about prayer, about spirituality, about the meaning of life. The final revelation came to me in a completely unexpected way. After 2 months of practicing this prayer daily, something extraordinary happened. And it wasn't what you imagine. I didn't see lights. I didn't hear voices. I didn't feel divine presence. What happened was much simpler and at the same time, much more revolutionary. I stopped feeling lonely. Not because I found someone, not because I solved my problems, but because I discovered that I had never been alone. Not in the way I thought. Here's the final truth, the revelation that changes everything. You're never alone because you were never separate. You're part of an invisible network of consciousness that connects all living beings. When you pray this way, you're not speaking to God up there. You're entering into communion with the life that pulses in everything. Your breath in this moment is the same force that moves ocean waves. Your beating heart is the same rhythm that makes stars pulse. Your capacity to love is the same energy that makes plants grow toward the sun. You're not a cosmic accident trying to connect with something greater. You are the very expression of that something greater trying to know itself through you. This prayer we practice together is not a technique. It's recognition. It's the moment when you stop pretending you're separate and remember that you're part of the same substance the universe is made of. Every time you say, "I am here," you're declaring your participation in the miracle of existence. Every time you say, "I feel what I feel," you're honoring the sophisticated instruments that connect you with reality. And every time you say, "I allow myself to exist like this," you're practicing the most sacred type of love, unconditional love for yourself. Now I want you to do something with me. One last time. Let's practice the complete prayer. All 6 phrases, slowly, as if each word were a key opening a door inside you. Breathe deeply. Feel your presence. And repeat with me, "I am here." Feel the weight of your existence. You matter. You make a difference just by being here. I feel what I feel. Your emotions are sacred. All of them, even the difficult ones. They are your humanity in movement. I allow myself to exist like this. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. You don't need to have answers to have value. Thank you for sustaining me even when I don't believe in myself. Recognize the force that keeps you alive even on the darkest days. Thank you for loving me even when I don't love myself. There's something in you that never gave up on you. Never. I trust in what you know that I don't know yet. You're being guided, even when you don't feel it, even when you don't understand. Now breathe once deep and feel something changed. Maybe it's subtle. Maybe it's just a small sensation that you can stop fighting against yourself. But it changed. This change is real. This peace is yours. You don't need to deserve it. You don't need to believe. You just need to be present for it. And here's the most beautiful part. This prayer works always. On your best days and your worst days. When you're grateful and when you're angry. When you have faith and when you doubt everything. Because it doesn't depend on your circumstances. It depends only on your willingness to meet yourself, to stop running from your own company, to recognize that you are your own home. You can practice this prayer in the morning when you wake up, or at night before sleeping, or in the middle of the day when everything seems chaotic. 3 minutes, 6 phrases. That's all you need to remember who you are beneath all the confusion. This is not a religion. It's not a philosophy. It's simply a return. A return to the place you never left, but forgot you inhabited, the sacred present of your own existence. Don't pray to be saved. Pray to remember you're already whole, even now, even like this, even with everything you consider a flaw. You're already complete. The journey isn't about becoming someone better. It's about recognizing the perfection of what you already are, not the perfection of the absence of problems. The perfection of total presence in whatever is happening. If you made it this far, you already understood. Deep down, you always knew. This prayer just gave you permission to remember. If this content touched your soul, please share it with someone who also needs to hear this. Leave a comment telling me how this prayer is transforming your days. And subscribe to Daily Prayer to continue receiving this type of nourishment for your soul. In upcoming videos, I'll show you how to deepen this practice even further, how to deal with internal resistance, how to use this prayer in moments of crisis, and how it can transform not only your relationship with yourself, but your relationships with all the people around you. If you watched this far, say in the comments, "I am here." That way I'll know you understood, that you allowed yourself to be present for this experience. Remember, you don't need faith to practice this prayer. You just need courage. Courage to stop. Courage to feel. Courage to be exactly who you are in this moment. The ritual ends here, but presence continues. You don't need to repeat to deserve. You're already worthy, without effort, just by existing. Until our next meeting, may your soul always remember you were never alone.